what's up world, it's Chris from Daily Tech, and this is a Swagway. Not a Segway, but a Swagway, also known to many as a hoverboard. Technically though, the box says it's a smart balancing electric skateboard. It costs $399, goes 10 miles per hour, and has a range of 20 miles per charge. So, how does it work? Turn it on, get on, lean forward or backwards to move, and apply a little bit of pressure on the right or left to turn. But holy cow, this thing is hyper responsive. While you can understand how it works and get some basic movement down within a few minutes, it still takes several hours of riding to get to the point where you can go in a straight line smoothly for extended distances. The easiest thing to do on this board is spin around in circles, and that's super fun. The hardest thing to do though, surprisingly, is just to go in a straight line, at least to go straight while going fast. That's because when you're learning how to ride, it's pretty easy to accidentally turn a little bit and then overcorrect with the other foot and then head into a fishtail, which sends you out of control. So just start slow, and after some practice, you'll really start to get the hang of it. For me, after a couple days, it's easy enough to ride in a straight line about twice as fast as I would normally walk without getting out of control. And you can definitely lose control if you're not paying attention. One helpful tip in riding is not to over-brake. One time when I was hauling fast, I slammed on the brake and leaned too far back, which sent the board flying out in front of me. So riding the Swagway definitely works best on smooth surfaces. Sidewalks and asphalt are no problem at all, but off-roading isn't the greatest idea. And you'll have to experiment with your foot placement. Some people like to ride with their feet touching the outer edges, but I found I actually got a little bit more control with my feet a little closer to the center of the control pads. And for some reason, it seems like going just a little bit pigeon-toed makes turning a bit less harsh. So if you're having trouble cruising for long distances, it might be worth a try. And speaking of long distances, while the board itself might be able to run for 20 miles, your feet are likely to get tired far sooner, at least until they've gotten used to it. That's because when you're riding on this thing, you end up using a lot of muscles that you just don't use normally. But that doesn't mean that the ride isn't smooth. It is, very smooth. In fact, the board is so smooth and stable that I was able to take many of the notes for this review on my iPhone while hovering around. One thing you might not realize from looking at all the YouTube videos is just how heavy these things are. And that means that unless you're riding it, have it stashed in the car, or have the carrying case, they're really not that portable. So it's really not like a skateboard in that regard. Alright, so let's talk about the build quality. This thing is super solid, that's for sure, but don't expect the exterior to stay in perfect shape for long. Even with the included bumpers, which seem to peel off pretty easily if exposed to too much heat, my Swagway ended up with plenty of scratches within the first hour of riding. But who really cares about that? I mean, I've never ridden a snowboard or a skateboard that was cosmetically flawless after a few uses. So what's my recommendation? Definitely buy a Swagway if you're looking for some fun, but don't plan on using it for serious transportation, at least until you put in several days or maybe even weeks of practice. Actually, two final notes of caution. Your Swagway will definitely roll away from you down a hill if you're not watching carefully, and the battery can run out on you while you're riding, and that means it'll quit balancing. So make sure to pay attention to the constant beeping telling you it's time to recharge. Alright guys, that's it for today. Hope you liked this review. Hit subscribe for tons more cool tech reviews, and check out dailytech.com for lots of great content. Otherwise, I will catch up with you later.